Welcome to the 4th episode of Photovlogs. Today we're visiting the country that is home to the Eiffel Tower, the French Riviera, and some really great baguettes. I got to visit 3 beautiful cities here with my friends, Nice, Paris, and Versailles. I'd never been here before, so it was all really exciting. We took 3 trains to get from Rome all the way to Nice. It took 10 hours. Looking back at it, I think a flight probably would have been way more efficient, but I mean, honestly, look at this view. Like, nothing beats the view out of a train window. And as soon as we hit the French Riviera, oh my god, I was in awe. I had never seen anything like these aqua waters. Yeah, we were in Nice. It was late afternoon by the time we arrived, and me and my friends were hungry. We stopped by this local place and I had some steak and it was really good. When we were done eating, it was golden hour. My friends and I walked through Place Masséna, and I remember just getting so excited about the golden light and how it was reflecting off the buildings. It was truly so beautiful. Now at this point, I was tired, I was ready to go back to the hostel, and I thought we wouldn't have enough light to see anything else. But our friend Sherry led us to the promenade, and I just remember walking through this arch, not expecting anything, and it just opened up to the entire French Riviera. And I remember this moment so vividly. Suddenly, I'm by the blue waters of southern France. The sun's going down. I look up and I just see a huge flock of seagulls soaring in the sky. And yeah, it all felt like a dream. We stayed to watch the sun go down, and it was one of the most glorious sunsets I've ever witnessed. My photos don't even come close to capturing it. But there was something about watching it, and something within me steadied. And I remember it was a really rough summer, and I was figuring a lot of things out. I was figuring myself out, and in this moment I just got the sense that like things were gonna be okay. And it was like the world was reminding me that beauty still exists even within the chaos. We went back to the hostel afterwards. The night felt special to me. Next morning, we woke up bright and early to watch the sunrise. It was a slow, peaceful start to the day, just taking everything in. The town was so quiet, like it was still waking up, and there was something comforting about that stillness. When the sun was up, we decided to head up the Colline du Château, which is a little park on a hill. And boy, was it a climb. But it was definitely worth it. This is probably my favorite photograph I've taken in the city. Firstly, you have these leading lines that draw your attention to the bird. Secondly, you have this nice contrast of the dark bird against a light scenery where it's perfectly placed in the sky where it's not too distracting. And lastly, the complementary colors of the blue waters and the orange roofing and all of the other elements just make for a really pleasing photo. Afterwards, we walked around, strolled through Cours Celia Market, walked around Nice. I tried my first savory crepe. First savory crepe? Yeah. It's so cute. I enjoyed it very much. It was a really chilly and windy day, but it was really fun. My friend Hannah and I took a dip in the water, and I instantly regretted it. It was the saltiest water ever. Even if you got a drop in your mouth, you would just spit it right out. The tide pulled us in so deep, and I almost drowned. And the wind, it dried my hair sideways. I'll never forget how ridiculous we looked, but we laughed about it so much later. We spent the rest of the day relaxing by the water, journaling, reading, and being silly. It felt like it was just us in the water, and we were all just being so silly together, even if we looked really stupid.
I saw fireworks that day.
As the sun went down, my friends and I noticed this couple who was making out. I thought it was really cute and romantic. I mean, kissing by the sunset in the water. But then 5 minutes went by, and then 10 minutes went by, and they were still making out. And I was debating if I should take a photo, but I didn't know if, by the time I took the photo that they would stop. And I just didn't want to get caught in a weird moment. But in the end, I decided to just go for it. And I remember I was just sprinting across the rocks, up the stairs, to try and grab a photo of this couple. And yeah, this was the photo. I asked the couple for their contact so I could send it, but now it's been 3 years and I lost your contact. So if by the off chance you see this video, send me a message and I would happily send it to you. And then afterwards we grabbed some dinner and wrapped it up for the night. The next morning we took a 5-hour train to Paris. Snacks in hand, we enjoyed the view. Watching the countryside roll by felt like a dream, with its endless fields and tiny villages. Finally, we arrived at the train station and we made our way to the Eiffel Tower. The metro ride was so scenic, with the French architecture appearing through the windows. We spotted the tower and I got so excited. There was just this huge sense of awe, but as we got closer, that kind of faded. It's really this hunk of metal, but still, we were thrilled to be in Paris. We took our obligatory tourist photos, explored the streets, and admired Parisian architecture. It's so refined, elegant, and well, everything felt super cinematic. We were off to our next landmark, and that was the Arc de Triomphe. The light was hitting this arch so beautifully. I love seeing the little details on the building. It's funny, my friends and I were admiring it, and then we saw a limo pull up, and a group of people came out of the limo, snapped a photo with the arch, and went back in the limo and drove away. We were staring at each other like, what? Then we strolled down Champs-Élysées. I didn't take many photos, but it was just nice to be walking down the streets of Paris. Later, we had dinner where I tried escargots for the first time. Cheers! It was surprisingly pretty good. It kind of reminds me of fish. After that, we strolled the streets of Paris and enjoyed the view of the Eiffel Tower at night. The sky looked so pretty, it was so beautiful. It all felt so surreal. I couldn't believe I was really in Paris, watching the tower. It felt magical.
In every way, I saw fireworks for the second time in 2 days.
The next morning, Hannah and I were on a mission for pastries. We found a local bakery, and wow, the baguette and pain au chocolat were... We went over to the Jardin du Luxembourg to have our breakfast, with our lovely pastries, taking in the view. The sun was coming up, the golden rays was just hitting all the autumn foliage, and everything was just so peaceful. It felt so beautiful, perfect way to start the day. After our breakfast, we made our way over to the Pantheon. We sat there for a bit, enjoying the view. And yes, we were carrying our baguettes around with us all day and eating it. It's kind of funny now that I look back at it. Right after, we walked to the Notre Dame. Honestly, it felt a little underwhelming, especially with the Notre Dame being under heavy construction. But I understand it was still being rebuilt after its fire in 2019. Still, I was very happy to have witnessed it in person. Okay, now for my favorite part, the Louvre, home to some of the most famous art, including the very Mona Lisa. This museum was massive.
Very exciting.
I think we had spent around 3 hours here and we barely scratched the surface of all the art there. I need to come back and spend an entire day here. It's just that big. All the rooms were so big and beautiful. I was so happy to see so many masterpieces by so many artists, like the Lace Maker, Venus de Milo, the Mona Lisa, and the Winged Victory of Samothrace. Though what I was most excited for was the Raft of Medusa. I remember studying this piece back in high school, and my art teacher told me the story behind this painting. It gave me chills and has stuck with me ever since. The story behind this painting was that 150 people were set adrift on this raft named the Medusa, and all had survived except for 15 people, and the rest endured extreme starvation, dehydration, and some even resorted to cannibalism. And so I found that pretty wild. I just love the romanticism style of this painting and how dramatic it all was.
We battled distance through the years, weekend flights and talk all nights, growing closer, sharing fears. I took you to the mountaintop and bent the knee when we got off. You were smiling ear to ear. We had both loved and lost, but we can start again.
After the Louvre, we grabbed a nice dinner, probably had a little too many drinks, then headed over to the Eiffel Tower. We just sat on the ground, enjoyed the view, and we talked. It was a good way to end the night. Good morning, and this is our last day in France. Bittersweet, but all good things come to an end. My friend Hannah and I were headed off to the Palace of Versailles, and after getting lost a little bit, we made our way there. Now, my expectations for this place was pretty low. I didn't look much into it. But wow, when we got there, this place is massive, and every room is a work of art. I've never seen such opulence in my life. The Gallery of Great Battles gave me chills. These huge, dramatic paintings of 15 centuries of French military successes lined up the room. Each painting, it all felt so dark. It felt like I was there witnessing it all happen, and I don't know, it all just felt very emotional. After exploring the palace, we went out to the gardens. Little did we know was how big the gardens were. They had this map of the garden, and on it were so many different fountains. And it quickly became this little adventure to try and see all of these fountains. Which I know sounds a little weird, but all the fountains were actually super cool, and it was fun to just see them all. Near the end of the day, there was a fountain show outside the palace, and we were so intrigued. It was so cute to see all of these humans surrounding this body of water, watching it dance.
This time we're different, so now we say, I saw fireworks that day. In every way, I saw fireworks for the second time in 2 days.
And to wrap up our night, we sat on the grounds of the Eiffel Tower again. Looking back at it, I don't know why we spent 3 nights by the Eiffel Tower. I think once would have been enough, but it's okay. We had some crepes. And that was our time in France. I'm so happy we got to experience so much. I'm really grateful. And in the next photo vlog, I'll see you in Scotland.